You were the smart kid, the one teachers praised, the one who always had potential. But now, you feel stuck. Why? You were told you'd go far, but instead, you're here, quietly drifting, scrolling late into the night, wondering if this is it. Because somewhere along the line, something broke. Not all at once, but slowly. Like a string unraveling. In school, everything made sense. You knew the rules. Get the grades, get the gold star, solve the problem, earn the praise. But outside those four walls, the rules disappeared. No one claps for showing up anymore. You used to be the fastest thinker in the room. Now you hesitate, you overanalyze, you question yourself constantly because intelligence was once your entire identity. And now it feels like that identity doesn't matter. But here's the truth no one told us. Being smart is not the same as knowing how to live. And that's where the real problem starts. You were rewarded for potential, not process. You learned to chase outcomes, not effort, and when things stopped coming easily, you assumed something was wrong with you, but it wasn't. You just never learned how to fail, because gifted kids rarely do. School felt easy, learning came fast, so when adulthood hit and everything required long, boring, repetitive effort, you froze. You waited for the motivation to come back, for clarity to strike, for someone to tell you what to do next. But that moment never came, and what comes next might feel uncomfortable, but it's everything you've needed to hear, because real life doesn't hand you a rubric. There's no right answer, and you never learned how to be uncomfortable without thinking you were broken. Worse, people expected you to have it all figured out, so you smiled, nodded, pretended you were still the smart one, even when your insides felt like static. I know this because I've been there. In high school, I was the golden kid, honors, debates, perfect essays, proud teachers. They called me a thinker. I believed them. So when life got messy and I couldn't just think my way out of it, I panicked. I thought I was losing my edge. But the truth is, I never built the muscle I needed most, consistency. Because being smart rewards shortcuts, but life rewards stamina. And in just a second, I'll show you the mental switch that made me finally move again. But first, there's one more trap we have to escape, and when you've been told all your life that you're special, it's terrifying to realize that being special doesn't get you far without action. So what happens? You withdraw, you isolate, you avoid, because you'd rather be invisible than average. You procrastinate, not out of laziness, but because deep down, you're afraid the work won't match the image. You're scared that if you try and fail, it means you were never smart at all, so you stall. You scroll endlessly, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow feels heavier than today. And the more you wait, the more your self-worth fades. But here's the thing, nobody tells smart kids growing up. Perfectionism is a trap dressed like a gift. Let me tell you this, the smarter you were, the more you attached your value to being right. But being right all the time makes you risk averse, and you can't grow if you're afraid to look dumb. That's why smart kids rarely become the most successful adults. The ones who do, they learn to embrace being bad at things. They start again, they try, they fail, they keep going. But we got addicted to praise. So now we fear silence. We fear not being noticed, not being exceptional, not being us. And the longer we feel stuck, the harder it becomes to believe we can change. But we can, because intelligence isn't a sentence, it's a tool. But it needs direction, it needs systems, it needs you to show up when it's boring, and it needs you to stop measuring your worth by how quickly you succeed. You know what finally changed me? One day, I just got tired. Not of life, not of failing, but of the loop, the thinking, the waiting, the replaying old victories and wishing they still mattered. So I made one decision. I started acting like I was stupid. That's not a joke. I told myself, pretend you're not smart. Pretend you're just someone who wants to get better. No pressure, just effort. That one mindset shift freed me. Because suddenly I could write badly, I could try new things, I could fall flat, and it didn't hurt because I wasn't protecting an identity anymore. I was building a future. And maybe you need to hear that too, because right after this, I'll walk you through 3 things that helped me rebuild from scratch. But first, drop the weight. You don't need to protect the smart kid anymore. You're not in school, there's no scoreboard. There's just the life you want to build. And the only thing stopping you is the fear that you won't be perfect on your first try. But here's your loop. You'll never get better until you let yourself be bad. That's the trade. You want direction? Start badly. You want clarity? Take messy action. You want confidence? Build evidence. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. The smart kid in you wants to solve everything before it starts. But the adult you needs to walk into chaos and figure it out along the way. That's where life is lived. So let's break this down. I'll leave you with 3 hard-earned personal tips. Number 1, kill the gifted label. Stop saying, I'm a perfectionist, like it's a badge of honor. It's not, it's fear. Call it what it is, then do the things scared. Number 2, build streaks, not sprints. You don't need one big win, you need small wins stacked over weeks. I started with 10 minutes a day, just 10, that's it. And those 10-minute days changed my life. Number 3, seek boredom, not brilliance. Real results are boring. Growth looks like repetition. If it feels slow and quiet, you're probably doing it right. You were the smart kid, but now you can be the strong adult. You can be the one who shows up, who rebuilds, who lets go of the pedestal and learns to walk again. Because being smart was never the finish line. It was just your starting point. And your story, it's just getting better. You've cracked the shell. Now lean into that momentum before it fades. The next move isn't just an option, it's the key to everything ahead. This next video ties it all together, building on exactly what you've just unlocked. If this one hit home, you won't want to miss what's next. Let's keep going. You're closer than you think.